Alright guys, what's good? It is Batman, it's your boy. We're going to be checking out one of the GOATs. So this is actually going to be two YouTube channels that are basically collaborating in this video. So it's going to be your boy ThunderGod, you already know. He always comes out with really good content. So far, he's literally had like 100% rate of me like amen, thumbs up, like absolutely. So far I've agreed with everything I've seen so far with the guy. He's done incredible work, incredible content. New Horizons, we have done a couple reactions with him, so we do know who he is as well. I'm going to put both their accounts in the link to the description down below, so please check them out. They have tons of Naruto content if you guys don't know. But anyways, we're going to be reacting to this video. This is like a goated ass fucking topic. A goated fucking topic. So, like, I don't know what's been going on lately, but like I've been kind of busy on the side life and working, you name it, the whole 9 yards, and gaming a lot and grinding Overwatch 2, and I'm like beyond over that game. That game has like tested my patience to the fucking T. It's just not the same. It's not like Overwatch 1 and it's a whole other thing. And I eventually might even make a video of like explaining why I'm just not going to play the game. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, we're going to be getting into this video. There's been a lot of YouTube channels that have been posting goated Naruto content. I don't know what the trend's been. I don't know what's been happening. Or like Naruto Claus came out of nowhere and is like, hey, we about to be lit, you know? So, but what's up, Ken? Welcome to the stream. But either way, like, this is going to be pretty dope. I'm excited. This is a goated topic. I never even, maybe the thoughts have come across my mind, like, at a certain point. But out of, like, all YouTube videos for, like, Naruto content that I've ever to see, I've never, like, seen a title like this. You know what I mean? Like, what if Naruto and Sasuke swap fights? And it's really genius. Like, you can kind of do that with a lot of Naruto characters then. You know what I mean? Which is really interesting. There's another one they did, which is down below actually. It's like a Kakashi and Guy swap fight. That's really fucking cool. But either way, we're gonna get into it. It's gonna be really cool, and might as well. You know what I mean? This is a really good topic. I'm really intrigued to see what they have to say. There could potentially be disagreements here and there, whatever. But either way, what you guys also gotta understand. I'm currently going off my knowledge, memory knowledge, what I know so far, what I've seen so far. My interpretations, etc. Doesn't mean I'm 100% competent or correct. Unless I actually do my homework and really invest and look into whatever the topic is and whatnot, and then I'm finally giving my thoughts and doing like a production video. That's when you kind of will really know where I stand at. So all because I may say something now, or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean it's ultimately like what I truly believe from here on out. Could change. You never know. You name it. So. But based on what they're going to present in the video, obviously, that's what I'm more than likely going to be reacting to and going from there, etc. So that's basically some of it. So for anybody that gets butthurt, if I ever were to have a disagreement or let's say something I were to say and you're like, oh, what the hell, like you're crazy, I promise you, okay, all because I'm saying it now doesn't mean it's a forever thing or like, you know what I mean, like this is what I would most definitely believe, whatever. Until I do the production video on it, okay, it could possibly change. You know what I mean? As of now, it won't, but it could change. So meaning I'm open to admit that I could potentially be wrong. Doesn't mean I'm right. And if we're all being honest, when it comes to fucking Naruto, it can be very contentious in so many ways. And it's really hard to be, correct 24/7, you know what I mean? Or at least know for a fact, you're 100% right depending on what the topic is. So, but enough talking. This video is already going to be long as it is, 39 minutes. So we're going to kind of react to it. I won't do a lot of pauses because I don't want to make it too long. If the video ends up too long, then I'll probably do 2 parts, but it shouldn't be too bad, and we're going to kind of get into it and dive into it. So let's get it.
Link in the description and the title, all that good stuff. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, so starting off, we have Naruto versus Yoroi in the Chunin exams, the first round. Now, honestly speaking, Naruto's probably going to wash Yoroi at this point. Yoroi was he was getting weaved out by a Sasuke who not only was fatigued from the Forest of Death, not a lot of people talk about this, but every character in the Chunin exam was fatigued.
Yeah.
Yoroi also was this Sasuke wasn't even able to amp his base movements with his chakra. So not only is he weaving out Yoroi with no ampage or anything at all, he can't use his Sharingan. He's getting nerfed by the curse mark. He then proceeds to taijutsu barrage and body Yoroi after getting most of his chakra absorbed. So it's just kind of you have this really bad showing by this sound ninja, whereas Naruto, who Sasuke kind of acknowledges Naruto's strength at this point in the series, he's like going on against Kiba and like having this onslaught brawl. It's just like Naruto's much more fresh in this position. He's gonna be able to make clones, and even if Yoroi like grabbed him and like start absorbing his chakra.
So one thing I will say before I let them continue to go. So absolutely agree. If Naruto was in this fight instead, Yoroi is getting washed up. That man's getting bodied. Okay, like you guys gotta remember, not only is Sasuke fatigued, he has like multiple nerfs. So he's fatigued. He can't use any of his chakra to enhance any of his stats, durability, speed, or anything like that, or whatever. Okay, he can't use the Sharingan. Okay, and most importantly, okay, can't use any ninjutsu, none of that shit. Any of that he cannot use. So he is like severely handicapped right now. Probably like at the weakest he could possibly be so far that we've seen it. Okay, you know, I would probably say like, you know, it's arguable, but this Sasuke, I would probably say, is even weaker than the one that was in the Land of Waves fighting against Haku and Zabuza shit. Because he just can't use chakra. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Like, he's so fucked up. If he were to use chakra or whatever, then the curse marker would respawn and then try to, like, go over his body, and he's not allowed to use it, blah, blah, you know? So, like, it's really, really hard for this Sasuke. So, absolutely. The Naruto that's at this current point, even though he has a severe nerf as well, to where he can't use any of the Nine-Tails chakra anymore, because, you know, the Orochimaru ceiling and whatnot, you know, so he can only kind of use his reserves, and it even fucked up with his, like, chakra control, to where it was a lot harder for him to control his chakra and utilize it, which was even shown when he was training with the Jonin, and then eventually Jiraiya, and Jiraiya was like, wait a minute, like, something's off, and he realized he unreleased what Orochimaru did, and then he would, next thing you know, Naruto's standing on fucking water and has no problems with chakra control. So, like, Naruto has a bunch of handicaps as well, but because he has not only so much stamina, you know, and a lot more chakra in comparison to Sasuke, you know, he would be perfectly fine. He would do his clones, whatever, and he would wash this man up and he would get bodied. Like, the guy is done. So, absolutely agree. That's just my personal take with it, but I'm going to let him keep going and go from here.
A, he's not going to be able to absorb all of it, or B, it just has the inverse effect, and like Naruto brings out the QB, in which case Yoroi's getting washed. So,
that too.
Yoroi was like, not taking blows.
I don't think he can use the QB at that point, though, because the whole point of why Orochimaru did his whole seal thing was to not let him be able to have access to the QB chakra. He literally did that so he didn't have to deal with QB Naruto. Like, he's like, get that shit out of here, you know what I mean? So, and then to basically weaken him to make it harder for him to manipulate his chakra and you name it. So, I don't know about all that. And I just recently went through all the manga for the part 1 and everything. Not the anime, but the manga at the very least. And I never saw at any point that he could tap into the Nine-Tails chakra or anything like that. He wasn't able to do it until after Jiraiya unreleased the seal. So, like, Orochimaru did a 5-prong seal. Like, I'm 100% sure he cannot use the Nine-Tails chakra. Could be wrong, but I don't think he can. Maybe if I look into the data books or something and whatnot, maybe I'll be able to have a direct conclusion of that, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm capping on that.
From like a super fatigued Sasuke, so this Naruto's like outside his realm in all aspects. So Naruto does kind of clear this realm with a lot less difficulty than Sasuke had in their initial fight.
So as for like the polar, or I guess the opposite for the Chunin exam prelims, would be Sasuke versus Kiba in Naruto's position. And this is going to be like Sasuke, like let's say like
I'll be real. As crazy as this sounds, I don't know what they're going to say, but I think Sasuke gets washed up by Kiba though. Like, I'm not joking. I don't know, bro. Like, fucking, I don't know. It'd be interesting. That same Sasuke versus Kiba would really be, because like, the Kiba, like, he's, like, when he does, like, the fucking, like, transformation thing and whatnot, and, like, takes the pills, like, he gets, like, double more of his chakra, so he's getting, like, even more faster and stronger, and he's giving, like, Naruto a run for his money to where, like, Naruto's like, oh, shit, I can't even keep up, can't do shit, nothing, you know, like, and it was really, really tough, like, really, really tough for him, you know, and, like, he wasn't, and the only reason why Naruto even won was because of a fucking fart, you know what I mean, like, it was an off-guard attack that, like, fucked over Kiba because he can, like, smell, like, 20 times over or whatever because he can emit chakra into his nose and amplify his smelling. So, like, if that never happened, Naruto would have lost the fight. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure they're not going to let him go, like, on a Nine-Tails rampage. And kind of similar with the whole curse mark thing, they would kind of shut that down. Now, if he can kind of tap into the power and control it like he did with Neji, that's a different story. But either way, I don't even think the Nine-Tails, like I said before, would even be a thing because he just doesn't have access to it at that point. But if Sasuke was in his shoes, like, you guys got to think about it. Like, he can't amplify his stats with chakra. He can't use the Sharingan. He's not allowed to use the curse mark. He has no ninjutsu, any of that. Like, so it's just solely martial arts that he can do. And yeah, I would give it to Sasuke when it comes to taijutsu in comparison, especially if he can use chakra, shutting in the whole 9 yards. But if he can't enhance his stuff with chakra and do anything, whatever, I think Kiba's just straight up beating his ass. Like, just either, I wouldn't say blitzing, but possibly I would say it's a lot more probable for him to even, like, be able to blitz that particular Sasuke, because Kiba is enhancing himself with chakra, doubles his chakra levels. Like, what the fuck does Sasuke do? You know what I mean? Like even if he gets a kick on one of the Kibas and he tries to do the combo, the other fucking Kiba can just come in and intervene. You know, so like, you know, like, and think about it, when he did that combo, like, the curse mark immediately reacted to him, like, overusing, like, his taijutsu, and, like, because he did, like, some type of chakra to do it, and the curse mark immediately responded, and he's in the air, like, trying to fight it to restrain it back. Like, the other Kiba's just not going to give him time to just sit up there and be like, oh, yeah, whatever. And no, the Kiba's going to do something, try to fuck him up, and then he loses. Like, I'm going to be real. As crazy as this sounds, I do think Kiba would probably beat that Sasuke. And the Sasuke would have never went on to the other tuning exams. Like, as crazy as that sounds. Like, I don't know about you, Ken, and what you think, but that's just me, though. I don't know. Could Sasuke pull it off? Probably. It's fucking Sasuke. You know what I mean? He's a genius. Genjutsu? Well, you gotta remember, he can't use any of his jutsus, though. He can't do Genjutsu, can't do Ninjutsu, can't enhance the stats of chakra, can't use a Sharingan. Like, he's severely fucking handicapped. So that wouldn't even be an option. And then let's say he could, like, he's never shown it, you know what I mean? So it's just, like, could he really do it, you know? I'm going to say, you know, there's still a possibility maybe he could, but, like, there's just no hint, no form of knowledge that he even knows how to enforce Genjutsu on someone. Like, he knows what it is, but he's never done it. And I'm pretty sure if he could have done it, he probably would have done that against Gaara or, like, other people he's fought, you know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense to do. Like, Genjutsu's is a W, you know what I mean? Like, it really goes a long way in a fight. So I don't know, but, like, I don't know. Could Sasuke pull it off? It's probable, but it's just, you know, I think it's a lot less likely, and I think Kiba would probably have it in the bag. It's, like I said, as crazy as that sounds, like, that's just me.
Computer spit out Sasuke.
Like, I ain't gonna downplay Kiba, bro. I'm not gonna do it.
Kiba. So this is going to be Sasuke just as fatigued. So basically, right, he can't use jutsu. I mean, he was like falling on the ground and stuff in the original fight. So this is actually like a very bad situation for Sasuke.
See?
And he would easily win if he was 100%.
Yeah.
But in this case, he is very down bad. So yeah. In terms of like the matchup, like Kiba is I guess he's kind of underrated among the Genin, that he's very physical, which is like the
he's a brawler. He's a beast.
He's so fatigued, and so basically I really don't see, me and TG don't really see Sasuke just duking it out with Kiba kind of the way that Naruto was trying to. So like
they're literally, come on bro, like that's how you know I'm just about it. They're literally dead ass saying everything I just said. like they're saying the same shit, bro. Come on.
Position Sasuke has in this position where he can't use jutsu at all. So surprisingly, in this situation, Sasuke is just going to lose because he simply does not have it in him at the moment to duke it out with.
Kiba would get the highest wink from this shit. Like, if this actually happened and that robotic machine said Sasuke versus Kiba would have won, and he would have had, like, the highest fucking, like, oh, this Kiba's so strong, like, no fucking way, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, everybody would have been losing their minds. Like, he beat an Uchiha, even though, like, this Sasuke literally is so severely nerfed, he can't do anything at this point. So, like, it would just be, like, a fucking perfect illusion just to demonstrate, like, some bullshit. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we all know if it's Sasuke with the Sharingan full power, you name it, he's washing up Kiba like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, so
oh, that's so funny, though.
Includes, like, the tuning exam, like, prelims. Really bad start for Sasuke, you know, admittedly. But moving on to...
It gets better. I'll be real. I'm pretty sure Sasuke is going to more likely win this. If I think about it as of now, I'd probably say he could win this a lot more than Naruto. Naruto gets a lot of W's in the beginning, but then eventually, obviously, towards, you know, in Shippuden, things like that, etc., I believe that's where Sasuke just gets a lot more in comparison. Because Sasuke is just a fucking beast in Shippuden. You know what I mean? Like, he's crazy. So, could be wrong, could be capping, but, you know, I would have to, like, think about it right now. I'm not really going to do that. I'm just going to play the videos. I don't want to waste time, but, yeah.
Start off with like Naruto versus Gaara, right? Naruto takes Sasuke's position in the fight. And now, you know, a lot of people like point to Naruto's performance against Gaara in the forest, but the problem is, Naruto like his first instincts were to run from that fight. He doesn't think he could beat Gaara. A lot of people have like heard these arguments before. And on top of this, you know, the series points to him like getting like crazy mental amps. He's like, bro, where's all this chakra coming from? You know, you'll be as strong as you need to be. All that plot like contrivances that you notice or like is talked about. In this case, Gaara is actually going to be fighting a lot more offensively with his sand, whereas Naruto's not going to. It's going to be a completely different fight. Whereas like Naruto, he was already intimidated by Gaara to the point where like he thought Sasuke would just get obliterated by Gaara. Maybe you could talk about like that's him projecting how he thinks like he would do against Gaara. And in this case, Gaara's just going to be fighting a lot more intelligently. He's going to be using his sand a lot more offensively, making sand clones. Probably putting Naruto in a sand burial. Naruto, you can maybe argue like he makes like, you know, they talk about like why he doesn't make more clones and like he's saving like his chakra. But in this case, Naruto, like he's just not going to be able to like breach Gaara's defenses in the same capacity. He's not going to be able to perform like the 1,000 shadow clone barrage that he was performing against Gaara in the forest or not the forest of death, but just the random forest. And now if Naruto does like able to access like Kurama's chakra, I think that actually is a bit more interesting. I think at that point we'd see something akin to like Sasuke just blitzing around Gaara and beating him down with his sand armor. But it still I don't believe like Naruto like blatantly eclipsed Gaara at that point to the where like he'd.
Dude, my eyes are fucking killing me right now. I don't know why. Holy shit. Sorry, give me 1 sec, guys. God damn. Ay, Dios míos. Alright.
Actually be able to like break him down. Like, and this is especially true if Gaara goes into his like sand ball. Naruto has no way to breach into it with his like physical strike. So you can actually make a case that like Naruto can amp himself to kind of beat around Gaara, maybe weave around the sand if Gaara like presses him to that point. But there's no like way for Naruto to like actually take down Gaara. He doesn't really have a win condition at this point. He's not gonna summon Gamabunta in the arena, you know, so there's none of that. So Gaara generally does come out on top.
So I'll be honest with this one. This one's a really weird matchup, to be honest, because like Naruto can win. We've obviously seen it happen. You know what I mean? Like when he fights Gaara, he wins the fight. You know what I mean? Like we've seen it fucking happen. So like, let me take this off because like holy shit, my fucking eyes are like killing me right now. So I see the angle and I see the direction of what they're saying, and it makes sense. So basically what they're talking about is if, let's say it's Naruto versus Gaara in the Chunin exams, not in a life and death battle like outside, but actually in the Chunin exam fight, okay, what would really happen and how does that go down? And, you know, as we see Naruto when he performs against Neji, you know what I mean, he can do a shit ton of shadow clones, you know what I mean, you name it. And then when he eventually gets serious, he does the Nine Tails Chakra and he amplifies his stats, but nothing really crazy happens. He just gets faster, stronger, you name it, just like what normally happens when he has the Nine Tails Chakra. So, like, if you put that same Naruto with just those feats alone against the Gaara that fought Sasuke, then I can completely understand why, you know what I mean, like, they would say Gaara should more than likely win or have it in the bag. But what I think is a very high possibility to argue for Naruto otherwise is that, you know, let's say he does Shadow Clones, that's not working, he does, like, his Nine Tails Chakra, you know what I mean, like, and that for some reason still can't do anything, like, to Gaara, to where, like, he can't punch through, like, that big freaking ball of sand. Like, let's say that the Nine Tails Chakra is just not enough attack potency, and he can't do it, you know what I mean, then fucking the only other option Naruto would have at that point, because, like, let's say he gets put in a sand burial, or whatever the case may be, like, he's gonna have to fucking summon Gamabunta with the Nine Tails Chakra, because, like, what you guys forget is Naruto uses the Nine Tails Chakra over and over and over and over whenever he's put into a corner. When he's backed up to a wall and he's fucked, he always uses the Nine Tails Chakra. He does it when he fights against Neji. He does it when he's basically fighting against Gaara. Like, when he gets put into that barrel thing, he does the Nine Tails Chakra and summons Gamabunta. When he is fighting against Gaara towards the end, after Gamabunta is gone, he summons the Nine Tails Chakra again, just so he can have enough power to punch him in the fucking face or headbutt him or whatever. So, like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, if he does use the Nine Tails Chakra, you can argue that he could summon Gamabunta. The whole fucking point of him training during the Chunin exam was for him to get stronger. And one of those ways was him utilizing Nine Tails Chakra a lot more. And two, now being able to summon Gamabunta. So I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, if Naruto's really pushed that point, which he wasn't really pushed that point with Neji, you know what I mean? Like, he was pushed far with Neji, but like not enough to summon fucking the frog. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that serious. And then Neji was kind of getting like mental fucked in the process during the fight. You know, he even started his rotation super late, which from that point under my assumption, which is why he took a lot more damage than he should have. But either way, regardless however you want to see that point, you know, like that's kind of where it happened. But if he's going against someone like Gaara, okay, I don't see why he would not summon Gamabunta. Like, like he fucking learned the technique, you know, like, and if anything, that would, you know, like basically show everybody like how strong Naruto really is. You know what I mean? Kind of really impress Hiruzen, you know, with the whole like 3-locked, you know, summoning way, like that was shown in the war arc and stuff. So like, I feel like there's plenty of incentive enough for him to be able to do it. For one, to not be killed, and for two, to beat Gaara, you know what I mean, and win the fight so he can be able to move on as a ninja. Like, his whole thing is to prove himself to everybody, to get respect, to become Hokage. So I don't know, like, that's just me. I don't know if you guys think I'm capping or whatever or not, but I think that for, you know, there is a strong possibility he would summon Gamabunta, and if he does, like, they're stopping the fight, dude. Like, they're not letting that go. They're not going to have a full-on, you know what I mean, like, Hokage-level battle of Gamabunta fighting Shikaku, because Gaara would have to go to fucking Shikaku in order to fight that, and that's not happening. Like, Hiruzen is not going to let that shit go. Nobody's going to let that go. As incredible it would be, they would destroy everything. It'd be too dangerous, and they're just not going to let that happen, especially for a fucking shooting exams fight, you know what I mean? So, like, that's all I'm saying there. So if that does happen, Naruto actually does win. Or better yet, I think it's also very possible that Naruto could get a mental amp, that he doesn't need to be put in a situation where, you know, like, oh, Sakura's about to die, he needs to protect whatever, like, blah, blah, like, I really need to, you know, like, you know, whatever, or I must protect him. You know, he does it the same shit against Neji, where, like, it wasn't about Sakura. Instead, he gets so mad because Neji keeps calling him a failure and saying you're trash, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, bet I'm trash, and then he summons the Nine-Tailed Chakra, gets serious, whatever, and goes from there. Like, what's to say he can summon a shit ton amount of chakra, or the Nine-Tailed Chakra, and summon a, you know what I mean, a booty amount of fucking clones, okay? Clones, okay? And just fucking have a shit ton, and then guess what? If he summons the same amount of clones he did, if he's able to fight a V2 Gaara, he's gonna definitely beat the Gaara's ass, which that should now... If he's in the ball, then no. You know what I mean? That's not going to do anything. Like, maybe if he, I don't know, stacks, like what he does against Kimamaru, like stacks a bunch of fucking chakra cloaks and a bunch of clones and they just punch into that shit, maybe he can get through it. I don't know. That's really stretching it. But either way, you know, I don't think Gaara's going to even, like, take Naruto enough seriously to even go into the ball, if I'm really being honest with you. Like, he just wouldn't do, I just don't see that happening. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, and even if Gaara did for some reason and went into the ball, Naruto's only way to win that point is literally just to summon Gamabunta, like dead ass. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only way he's gonna pull it off. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. It's really weird and it's really interesting. But either way, what they're saying, it's not like they're wrong. You know what I mean? It makes sense and I get it, but I could see ways for Naruto to come up top, if that makes sense. And the reason why is because, one, he's the main fucking character. Two, the plot would more than likely demand it. And three, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking Naruto, bro. Like, the man always whips shit out of his ass, okay? So, like, you know, better yet, even a better example, he even did it against Mizuki, you know what I mean? The Chunin, where he summons a shit ton of clones. And that's when he's an academy student, you know? So, like, I don't know. That's just me. But let's say he can't do all those clones or get Munta either. I absolutely agree he would lose. So by that logic, yes, but if you grant that to him, then he would win, and then he would be 2-0 for Sasuke, or tied 1-1. Is what it is, but let's get it. That's just me though.
And you can even make a case in the original.
I think it would just transfer to that fight if Naruto started and still end the same. Gaara would definitely threaten to kill everyone. Okay, I feel you. Yeah. Like, if anything, if I'm really being honest with you, Ken, like, if they really started fighting and shit was happening, absolutely agree. It would more likely go the same route. I don't see why not. It's, you know, I mean, Kishimoto kind of wrote it. But I do see Gaara, like, getting serious and starting to transform as well. And then at that point, that's when everyone would have to, like, intervene and stop the fight. But see, what would probably happen is, instead of the fight being stopped, that's when the whole attack would happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's when the Sand and Orochimaru would start the attack, because shit's kind of popping off with that fight, and then everything just pops off. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a fucking domino effect. So I do feel you. I agree with that.
Fight, Gaara would have also come out on top if the fight wasn't interrupted. So, this is just the case where Naruto's just going to take the L.
So, I've taken... I guess your fight was pretty controversial. Mine's, like, age-old controversial. Sasuke versus Neji.
Oh, here we go. Neji and Sasuke.
There's a lot going on here. Like, you really have to read in between the lines to really see who wins here. So some of the basic stuff. So we know at this point Sasuke is moving at knee speed.
Weightless.
Now Sasuke doesn't quite have the stamina, the same stamina as Lee, because Lee notes. Or you can see Sasuke getting much more tired than Lee, but besides that, it's basically known that Neji is stronger than Lee without weights.
Yes.
When they were sparring, Neji.
It's literally stated verbatim that Lee bare minimum would need the third gate in order to beat Neji. It's stated verbatim that he would need the reverse lotus. The whole point of the technique is he moves at such amount of speed that the attacker is literally untouchable and the person can't do anything to defend themselves. So with third gate, Lee should be able to beat Neji, but meaning with the first gate, second gate, weightless speed, all that, for some reason that's just not enough. As crazy as that sounds, Neji is just that strong. And the reason why is because the Byakugan, he's able to see all around and everything. So just think about it. You're able to anticipate an attack and react accordingly to it. Yeah, you know what I mean? I could see why Lee's still not more likely to be able to do it. And as crazy as that sounds, it just is what it is. I mean, Neji's, he's that guy. A lot of people really think Neji's trash, but he's not. He's fucking strong. And it says a lot about Neji because, the bone guy, Kimamaru, when Lee went into the first gate, and mind you, he just got out of fucking surgery, so he's arguably even weaker compared to his training exam version. He does the first gate, and the bone guy literally, Lee moved so fast at the first gate alone, he couldn't do anything, and he had to use his bones, jutsu activation, to compensate for the speed difference. So, the first and second gate is no fucking joke with Lee. I mean, so the fact that, it can work on 9 out of 10 times on a lot more other people that are really, really strong, especially someone like Kimamaru, okay? Obviously, I'm not saying, Neji's stronger than Kimamaru, he beats him. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is because he has the Byakugan, and obviously Kimamaru doesn't have the Byakugan, okay, it amps him in a way to where he's able to see things, predict accordingly, react accordingly, and he just has enough reaction speed and combat speed to deal with Lee even while he has his amps or weightless. It's crazy as it sounds, but it's stated, it's supported, and it's all there. You know what I mean? Data books, anime, and manga, it doesn't get any more simple than that. So, now a lot of people like to wank Neji and say that Lee has to go to the 4th or 5th gate to fucking defeat him. I don't think it's that fucking serious. I think that's a little weird. It's literally stated verbatim that it just only requires the reverse lotus, and the reverse lotus can only be used once you activate the 3rd gate, not the 4th and 5th. So there's a whole bunch of other people that always say, he needs to go to the 4th or 5th to win. I think that's a bunch of baloney. But either way, that's kind of what you're working with, and that's what you're getting. So. Yeah, is that how you feel, buddy? Yeah. Yeah. You're just gonna start screaming. You're gonna be rude and just scream. Yeah. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? Hang on, guys. I'll make sure to edit all this stuff out. But what are you doing? What you doing? Booger. But anyways, let's continue the video and keep going.
That. And we've seen Neji take on greater opponents, such as Naruto with the small QB amp he had in the Naruto versus Neji fight. Now the thing is that at face value, you would think this is a very even matchup, but when you look at Sasuke versus Gaara's fight, Sasuke is actually way above, I would say, Neji level. And that's because just by judging by how Neji reacted to Naruto versus how Sasuke reacted to Gaara. So once we see Naruto get the QB amp, he's basically he and Neji are kind of equally each other out, and Neji's visibly distressed, trying to deal with all the movement and stuff, and then they cancel out each other's attacks. And after that big explosion between the rotation and Naruto's just QB chakra, Neji is so tired, you can see it, and he gets one punched. And I know some people get mad about that, but he was just.
So what I will say on that is, you know, it wasn't that Neji was tired. Okay, the problem is like he fucking like just tanked like a fucking explosion. I mean, like, so what happened is Naruto's like talking, you know, doing the talk no jutsu shit, and it's mentally like distraughting Neji. Like he's over here like literally thinking, like while Naruto's charging at him, he's literally like fucking talking a whole essay in his mind. Okay, and literally saying like, you know, saying a whole bunch of shit, whatever, and okay. Alright, so like I was saying, so basically, you know, so that's basically what happens, and because of that happened, then Neji literally quotes verbatim, he's like, oh, the rotation, I need to start it now, has like a worried expression, and he starts the rotation delayed and very late, and then, you know, doesn't really finish it, but like blocks him, whatever, then a huge explosion happens, and then Naruto took a lot more damage due to what the technique does, and then Neji took a lot of damage as well, so it's because he took a lot of damage was why basically, you know, he looked the way he looked. He wasn't like exhausted. He wasn't like huffing and puffing or fatigued or whatever, anything like that. Like that wasn't the case. It wasn't because he was exhausted. Like he could still use the Bakugan. He could still do shit. He just took a fucking explosion like face, you know, like to his face. Okay, and then off guard because he underestimated Naruto and he didn't have his Byakugan on. Naruto was able to basically get a freebie and him right in his fucking chin and bam, done. You know what I mean? I got full fucking force. So that's the only reason why that really happened. It wasn't because he was exhausted or he couldn't, you know, whatever and shit like that. He just took a lot of damage and it was an off-guard attack and he just got hit. He didn't expect Naruto to do that. He underestimated him. And that's the only reason why the fight even went the way it did. And I always say this to this day, you know, from what I've seen so far and you know what I know is if Neji was able to do the rotation on time and do it like he normally does to all the attacks that come at him, he would have just basically stopped the fucking attack and then just reflected it right back at Naruto, and Naruto would have been defeated, and he wouldn't have really taken any damage. Maybe a little bit, maybe if you want to be generous to Naruto, but the whole point of that technique is to literally use an enormous amount of chakra and parry the attack, reflect, and you name it, and bam, that's it. Like every time it's used, it always deflects the attack. The only time it has not done that was when he was delayed and didn't do the technique on time. So basically what I'm saying is there's a possibility that what happened towards the end only happened because he delayed the technique, or if you really don't think that's the case or whatever and you think it's just because Naruto is that strong that, you know, the rotation does have limits and it just went through and that's why whatever. It's fine, it's fair, but at the end of the day, I think the more higher possibility is with the fact that it was delayed. Main reason why is because when you even see them use it against the Ten Tails attacks, it's perfectly fucking fine. You know what I mean? So like, and we all know that Ten Tails would scale way fucking over Neji, yet his rotation could still parry fucking Ten Tail attacks, you know, which is just insane. So like the technique has 100%, you know, like win-loss like ratio, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's really weird, you know, to say otherwise. But either way, that's all I wanted to kind of say there. But we'll keep it going and whatnot, and see what the rest of their thoughts are.
Really just so like hurts from that explosion that it makes sense that he was one punch away from just being done. As for Sasuke, when he fought Gaara in the forest, that version of Gaara that's partially transformed is way stronger than Naruto with that QBM. Like you can just see by like he's running like sprint, or I guess trying to speed blitz Sasuke through the forest and then just clear cutting through several trees like it was nothing. Whereas like Naruto's just running around this arena and messing up some of like the terrain when he runs and stuff. And Sasuke is able to dodge this without his Sharingan at first, and then as Gaara
without a Sharingan
to get more powerful, he uses his Sharingan.
He has his Sharingan the whole time. I don't know about all that.
And he even gets hit by Gaara once, which sends
unless I'm capping
through the forest, like way farther than the Neji was then playing when he clashed with Naruto. And Sasuke gets up, and he's in much better shape than what Neji was when he got sent flying back, right? And also, like we see, like Chidori itself is combating against Naruto, or sorry, it's even greater than Gaara's like attack speed or attack potency. Like he's cutting straight through Gaara.
Shidori's no joke, bro. Like, it's fucking strong. Yeah, I would probably say, it should cut right through as well. He does it 3 times. He does it, on his big ball, then does it at that point, and then when Gar does another further transformation, I would have to look at the scans again or look at the anime or whatever. But I do believe Gar is a little bit more transformed, so you could say he's even more strong or whatever, blah blah. But he does it again, and he used a curse mark to do it though, and he went right through it for the 3rd time. So yeah, Shidori's fucking really strong.
She can't even fathom that Sasuke can even do this. So really, just because of that, how Sasuke dealt with a much greater threat in Gaara, if he comes at Neji with Shidori, I'm really not sure if rotation can block it, and I really think that if Sasuke can react to this transformed Gaara, then he can definitely react to Neji and win.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna add one thing to that. I loved everything you said. This is literally the cherry on top is that Naruto is making all these statements with the context that he can use the QB chakra that just was on par with Neji. So it's you hit the nail on the mark.
And so after that, we get into the Thawning showdown.
Okay, so that's basically what the thing with Neji and Gar, or Neji and Sasuke. So I'll be honest. As of now, my current knowledge, I think it can go either way. There's a lot of really good arguments you can use for Neji. There's a lot of good arguments you can use for Sasuke. Eventually, I was actually going to do a video on Neji versus Gaara, Neji versus Sasuke, things like that. What's it called and whatnot. And those are going to be more in-depth videos of explaining my thoughts and why. Or Rock Lee versus Neji, or Rock Lee versus Naruto, if he was there in the shooting exams. Eventually, I'm also going to have a video of shooting exams in general, who's the strongest, who would win overall, and kind of talk about different scenarios and whatnot with the shooting exams, and kind of go that route. So there's going to be a lot of videos of eventually coming out when it comes to the tuning exams in general, or just matchups around that time. Because I do really think it's interesting. I do think, there can be a lot of better ways to kind of approach and analyze things and explain and etc. And at the end of the day, it's kind of needed because, at the end of the day, I love Naruto, I love Sasuke, you name it, and certain other main characters, but you got to give credit when it's due overall. What the issue is, there's a lot of, there's a lot of Sasuke tards, there's a lot of, Uchiha tards, there's a lot of the whole fucking 9 yards, you know what I mean? And if it ain't an Uchiha, or if it ain't Sasuke or Naruto or whatever, then all fucking, you know what I mean? That person can never win, blah, blah, you name it. So and there's a lot of ignorance when it comes to the side characters or characters that, are more underrated and so on and so forth, etc., instead of the main characters and things like that. And I feel like a lot of people like to overlook those things, or do unnecessary ranks or be disingenuous and so on and so forth, etc. So when it comes to those type of things, that's something definitely needs to be talked about a lot more. For instance, there's one video I've done before of Rock Lee versus Sasuke shooting exam versions. You know what I mean? Because I felt like it was just really needed because that was a really big topic all the fucking time, and people just straight up either just misconstruing the evidence or just giving miraculous, tooth fairy fucking winks to Sasuke and all this other shit and so on and so forth. You name it, and it was just really weird. It was really bad. So what I will at least basically say is, it's going to be really cool to do those videos, and I'm excited to eventually do them, and that will come in time. But that's all I'll really kind of say on that. So I have no issues with them saying that, Sasuke more than likely wins. I don't see the problem in that. It's fine. I mean, could Neji pull it off? Absolutely, 100%. You know what I mean? Especially if we think, he could still react to that Sasuke, which, if we, go back to what they were saying in the beginning, obviously Neji's, could be able to react and deal with weightless Lee, first gate Lee and second gate Lee. So, if he can kind of deal with that Lee and his Byakugan and his perception reading abilities, you name it, is that fucking great to be able to react and anticipate accordingly. Okay, if he's fighting against Sasuke, who only has the speed of weightless Lee, and sure, he has a Chidori, and yes, sure, that can amp his speed, but for one, you can't quantify it, and two, it's not a massive quantification of an amp either, because when he does it against Naruto with a Rising Gon, he's not speed blitzing Naruto with a Rising Gon. He's not speed blitzing anybody with it. You know what I mean? He just basically is at equal level of charging speed or travel speed, and because he has a Sharingan, he has a higher percentage of winning that encounter and able to react accordingly. So even if you grant the amp of Chidori's speed, if you can't quantify it and it's consistently being shown as not a significant amp either, Okay, whenever he does use the Chidori, you know what I mean? Like, even if he uses Chidori, yeah, he's going to charge right at Neji, but guess what? He's charging straight at Neji just like what Naruto did. He'll have plenty of time to be able to react, to use rotation, and then it just comes to the question of, like, do you think Chidori is going right through the rotation, or do you think rotation is going to just counter and reflect and do what it's supposed to, that it's literally stated verbatim? You know what I mean? Now, I'm going to be real with you. As of now, either way, I don't care. Maybe it goes through, maybe it doesn't. But what I will say is if a Chidori is over here, like, you know, contesting against a Rising Dawn and being beaten by a Rising Dawn, which is basically a change in form, you know, and increasing and amplifying chakra power and range, okay? And that's all it is. And Chidori is just a change in nature and using the change of form to amplify its power and range, okay, whatever. And the Rising Dawn is greater than the Chidori, and it's just a ball of fucking chakra. Guess what? Neji uses chakra, okay, basically change of form and whatnot, and using rotation and can emit a shit ton of it. I don't see why potentially chakra alone, same shit, okay, the only difference is just not a ball of chakra, okay, why it wouldn't be able to contest against a Chidori, you know, or limit the attack potency, or maybe counter reflect or whatever. Like, as of now, I would say it's more probable and higher percentage wise for rotation to work against a Chidori and be effective. And if you guys still like think I'm maybe, you know, I don't know, going too crazy with Neji or whatever, like even in Boruto, I know it's Boruto, but even in Boruto, it even shows like like the uncle of fucking, you know, Hinata and whatnot in Boruto, to where he does rotation on a Rising Dawn and on a fucking lightning amped sword, and just completely negates both of them. You know what I mean? So like, it's really not far to the question. You know what I mean? Rotation even works in Ten Tails attacks. It works in everything else it's used on. You name it. Like, I don't really understand why people would have an issue, especially of just the normal Chidori. Obviously, we're not talking about Onyx Chidori, but especially just normal Chidori, of that being able to possibly not work on rotation. You know, it's great. You know, it's crazy that sounds. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, you're crazy. Chidori should go right through and kill him, whatever," and that's it. You know, but either way, it is what it is. It's extremely contentious, though. It's extremely contentious, and until I make the time to review everything and look at all the evidence and finally, you know, come to a conclusion, then you guys will know my true take on that. But either way, I'm neutral.
Sasuke was like asleep during the entirety of this, so Naruto doesn't have a fight here. So I'm taking on the Sasuke versus Kabuto fight. I guess it's kind of like that, where Sasuke is basically, where Naruto was basically, because Shizune got folded by Kabuto, and then Tsunade was afraid of blood, so both of them were out of the fight, and Naruto had to step up. So in this situation, we're putting Sasuke in that situation. And it's actually funny that even though, like, these two are supposed to be at least relative during this time, Sasuke does way worse in this situation. And And I think that the reason why is, like, when we're examining, like, these two fighters, Sasuke is very analytical, like, quick thinking. He can very easily craft a defense and, like, decipher his opponents, where Naruto needs a bit more time usually, but he can create much more outside of the box, thinking, like, offenses, just to, like, analyze all their fights. So, in this fight, Naruto he saw that Kabuto's arm was too damaged because he made it bleed out to scare Tsunade. And so he literally made Kabuto sacrifice his other arm by letting Kabuto just stab through his hand completely and then grabbing onto his hand. I don't think Sasuke would have any type of thinking like that. Like, he's never really showed like that type of abstract thinking. He's more analytical. Like, I would think that he would be trying to use, like, fire style and shuriken and stuff to create, like, some type of opening to use Chidori. Like, he was doing that when he fought Naruto at the Final Valley. And in this situation, like, if you're just coming at Kabuto with Chidori, it's just not going to work because he's, as Jiraiya said, on Kakashi's level. And when Naruto first tried to go at Kabuto, it just didn't work because they're just not, like, these are just getting.
So I'm gonna give a little bit more info on this. So for one, when Naruto even starts fighting Kabuto, he actually has like a broken. It's either a broken. I think it's like a broken hip or leg or something. I can't remember, but something's broken because he was fighting a snake and then it broke his bones or whatever. And I don't remember exactly, but there was something broken. So for one, Naruto is like crippled and has a broken shit, but he's still fighting. You know what I mean? He's doing the best he can, whatever. And even if he didn't have like a broken bone or whatever, it stated verbatim Kabuto's Kakashi's level. That's like saying Kid Naruto or Kid Sasuke is washing up Kakashi, and that's just blatantly not fucking happening. I mean, it's just not happening. Like, you even see Kakashi, like, be able to grab Naruto's Rising Gun and Sasuke Shidori like it's fucking nothing and just throw him away. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like they were moving too fast or the techniques are so strong where he couldn't intervene. Like, even Itachi was able to grab that shit and deal with it like it's nothing. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're in a class so much higher at that point, and Kabuto is around that level of scaling, Kabuto is going to be able to deal with Sasuke easily. Even if Sasuke uses Curse Mark, he should still be able to deal with Sasuke. Like, you would have to argue and say that Sasuke is now Jonin level with CM1, and that's just not there at all. Like, that's just inherently not implied. It's not there. If anything, it took 2 of the Sound 4 that have access to CM2 and arguably a stronger CM1 version, okay, 2 of them to fight 2 Jonins separately. Okay, so there was 2 of the Sound 4 fighting in 1 Jonin, the other 2 fought the other Jonin, and it was a 2v1 basically, and they had to go to CM2 in order to win. Okay, so the fact that it took 2 to fight Jonin that are technically fodder to Kakashi and Guy in comparison, because we know arguably Asame, Guy, and Kakashi are probably like the 3 top dogs. Like, if we had to rank all the Jonin, you know what I mean, those 3 are probably, you know what I mean, the strongest ones. Okay. I'm not trying to be mean to Kurina and all that. Yes, you can do Genjutsu, you can name it, but if you can release Genjutsu or you're in a similar level, it's not really going to be effective or dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to do anything. But anyways, so, like, absolutely agree. Kabuto should slap to Sasuke, even if he uses CM1 or Shidori. Like I said, the Shidori, yes, it amps the shotting and whatever, great. But since Kabuto is just at a higher level, he could be able to react and just grab the technique or just use his chakra script or whatever you name it, and he'll be able to deal with him accordingly. Like, he'll have ways to intervene and deal with the technique. And all he has to do is, like, sidestep or maneuver, you know, accordingly, and he's fine. Like, he's not getting speed blitz. He's not getting fucking killed by a Shidori or anything like that. And I'm going to say right now, I already know there's probably a whole bunch of Sasuke fans that are like, oh, no, he'll beat Kabuto too and all this other shit. If you really think Sasuke beats fucking Kabuto, dude, you're just crazy. That's literally saying he can beat Kakashi. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, what are we doing? I mean, that's just being extremely disingenuous. So, there's so many ways to explain, but it's not really needed. You guys should know that.
Here, they're not dealing with like someone like as powerful as Kabuto. So, strangely enough, Sasuke loses pretty hard here.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that's actually like the only fight that happens in like the Sannin Showdown, at least in Naruto's case. So we actually move into like the Sasuke retrieval arc, in which case we have Final Valley Naruto against the Sound 4, which is like kind of the fight Sasuke took on before the village. And I'm gonna be honest, you might say like, here's the logic, right? Obviously, you know, Naruto does have a lot at this point. You know, he can like, if he gets like the Kyuubi chakra, he can do like the multi-shadow clones that were like surrounded.
Yeah, he can do like fucking millions. He can summon Gambunta, like fucking, like he can summon thousands of Kyuubi clones that he did to Kimaru. Like, if anything, if I'm really being honest with you, as crazy as it sounds, I could see Naruto pulling a W in this fight. But if Naruto performs the way he did when he's 1v1ing, like, you know, like the rock Sound 4 guy or the spider dude, you know what I mean, shit like that, he is not winning. He's getting absolutely destroyed. Like, he's gonna get fucking rocked. You know what I mean? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it depends how Naruto basically approaches it, if I'm being real with you. But even if, like, he starts to getting whooped or washed up, the moment the Kyuubi chakra comes out and he's getting serious and all that, or even goes to result to summoning Gambunta, which I could see Naruto, especially if he's in a life and death situation, and they're trying to kill him for whatever reason. Let's say the reason, like, oh, he's a distraction for Sasuke, let's get rid of Naruto or kill him. You know, I could see Naruto, if he's pressed enough in a life and death situation like he's done countless of times, to the Akatsuki, to when he's about to die, when Jiraiya pushes him off the cliff, when he's fighting against, you know, fucking, Gaara. Like, there's plenty of reasons why he would. I could definitely see him to summon Gambunta with the Nine Tails Chakra, or if he does, like, thousands of fucking QBM clones and starts going at him. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I could see Naruto really pulling it off. Like, it's crazy it is. Or if he goes to, like, the One Tail, you know, and shit, and he's, like, going on a rainbow, he's not going to be holding back. He's not going to be restraining himself. No, he's going to be going for the fucking kill and going at full power. You know what I mean? Like, Sasuke was fighting a Naruto that was technically still holding back. Naruto had plenty of opportunities to kill that Sasuke, and he never did. You know, he even had opportunities to knock him out, and he didn't. You know, like so. I could see Naruto pulling it off. Could the Sound 4 win it? Sure. But I could see that Naruto pull it off. I could. Especially if he summons Genbunta. It's arguable if thousands of his QBM clones could do it, okay? And if he goes one tail like he did against Sasuke, like, I don't know, bro. I don't think the Sound 4 are going to be taking that. You know what I mean? I really don't. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I know they can scale to at least a Jonin when they go into their CM2, but that's when they're fighting together. So yes, they're obviously all together. So basically, like if all four of them are together and they're fighting Naruto, basically what that means is Naruto's fighting a Jonin but times 2, if that makes sense. That should make sense. So, and if you think Naruto's like one tail form could scale to 2 Jonin and beat them, then he wins. If you think Naruto's like thousands of QBM clones that fought Kimaru could scale to 2 Jonin, he wins. If you think, well, this isn't even a thing. It's guaranteed. But Genbunta obviously scales over the Jonin, 2 Jonin. So that's kind of the mindset you got to kind of like think of and, you know, how it really go. But either way, that's just me. So let's get it.
Kimaru, you know, so...
What do you think on that, Ken, though? Do you think I'm capping, or do you think I said it pretty well?
He's like on par with like Sasuke's base form and like the Final Valley. So Naruto's like pretty strong, and this is like Sasuke like after he gets amped by like the curse mark, like Naruto's able to kind of like throw ones with him. So Naruto like is pretty strong at this point. You know, even his QB chakra is like able to completely dismantle like Sasuke with the curse mark and all that. But the problem is like the Sound 4 actually just have like too many hacks. Like you can make an argument
crazy hacks.
To Yuya herself might be is honestly a GG at this point, as her Genjutsu is just gonna wipe Naruto's.
That is true though. Like you know what I mean. Like she does have Genjutsu. That is true. That is true. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why it's very realistic for the Sound 4 to most definitely win in this case. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a lot more probable for Naruto though. But the Sound 4, they just have so much hacks and their teamwork is no joke. You know what I mean? Like if she does her Genjutsu, Naruto gets in Genjutsu, and guess what? Naruto hasn't even been trained at this point to get out of Genjutsu. He doesn't start learning that training until after he leaves the village with Jiraiya. You know what I mean? It's Shonen Shippuden. So, like, he doesn't have any training to deal with Genjutsu. So if she goes to CM2 and does Genjutsu, he's fucked. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just depends how it goes. Like, if he gets serious enough and he summons Genbunta, he wins. No matter what their hacks, whatever. Okay, Genbunta's not going to let him die. All right? If he goes, like, let's say they do the Genjutsu and then bam, they, like, fucking, you know, land a blow, whatever, and the One Tails comes out, he wins. Okay, I do think he would win. Unless, like, actually, no, even with One Tail, because, like, if Sasuke with 3 Tomo could still react and, you know, and base and everything, and, you know, it's just like the QB cloak is kind of, you know, like giving him a run for his money. Like, if they're able to kind of, like, you know, be in the offense and kind of stay a little bit more invasive and use their hats, then maybe One Tail actually wouldn't be able to be enough. Because if the One Tail gets put in a Genjutsu, like, Naruto doesn't, once again, he doesn't know how to break out of Genjutsu. So unless you think, like, his amount of chakra, like, if it's so massive, he could just break out of it, you know what I mean? Kind of similar to, like, what he does in the movies. Like, in that one Naruto movie, like, he was put in a Genjutsu, but just with his rage and chakra, he just broke out of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, so unless you think that's happening, then sure, whatever. But, like, it's going to be really interesting. It's really, really interesting. I feel like that's very contentious. Naruto versus the Sound 4. Like, it's really weird. I don't know, bro. Like, it's really, really weird. So, but the Sound 4 could definitely pull it off. I don't see why not. I really don't. They just have crazy hacks and shit. And it is what it is, you know? Like, it is what it is. But that's just me, and we'll kind of go from there, so.
Breaking free from it. And when you couple this with the fact that, like, each of the Sound 4 have, like, all their unique abilities. Like, for example, right? Jirobo could, like, place Naruto into that Earth Pillar as, like, that drains his chakra as Chuya sets up the Genjutsu. Like, the problem with the Sound 4 is that, like, Naruto and his squad members, there was, like, almost an intervention at each one to, like, talk about how they were going to beat him. Like, each Sound member would stall the group, and then, like, the only way for them to advance was for one member to kind of, like, sacrifice themselves. And each of the Sound 4 members, like, also have different things. Like, Sakon and Ukon can, like, start attacking, while Kimimaro just goes over and starts shooting arrows and stuff like that. Like it's ridiculous what they can do and the amps they get. Like they all have such diverse arsenals that maybe you could say like Naruto should have like 1v1 like them for this spot. And while I will grant you that, it's my video, shut up. Sasuke did have to fight the 4 of them, and he lost. So, you know, I'm giving Naruto a stronger case here. But honestly, like, he's not going to be able to do anything against the Sound 4. Even if you argue, like, he's, like, stronger than them, quote-unquote, like, their abilities are going to overwhelm him very quickly. They all have, like, there's just way too much. It's way too diverse at this. So, yeah, Naruto kind of gets washed.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and so...
But I could see it. Like I said, I could see it. I could definitely see it. It's fair. It's not like they're saying something absolutely outrageous or anything crazy like that. I don't see the issue, whatever. It's definitely plausible. Definitely plausible. Or if I'm even saying the correct fucking term. Definitely possible. Now, like I said, I feel like you could still argue for Naruto, especially if he summons Gamabunto, or if you think the One Tail would scale high enough to do it, or if you fucking, maybe like hundreds, of all of his clones and whatnot. And things like that. But either way, like, it's interesting. But it's either side, either way. It could go either way. It can go either way. It just depends. It really boils down to how it goes. So yeah, absolutely.
For the other Sasuke retrieval arc fight, for Sasuke's case, we're putting Sasuke in Naruto's position against Kimimaro. So basically, he's going to chase Kimimaro into that field, and then if he stalls long enough, Lee will show up, and then if he stalls even longer, that Gaara will show up. And basically, the win condition is just defeat Kimimaro, or at least, like, incapacitate him, or I guess Kimimaro will eventually die either way, so... Anyway, Sasuke versus Kimimaro has also always been, like, an interesting parallel, like, even, like, Part 1 Sasuke and Stick Kimimaro, and, like, heavy Sasuke and a potentially healthy Kimimaro, since these are two of Orochimaru's favorites. Like, they both have the special curse marks, I forget the exact name. Like, these two stand
Earth and Heaven Seal.
Like, and so in this situation, one way to compare them is like, so Kimimaro went against Naruto with just like the QB amp where it just changes Naruto's eyes. So it's like the smallest QB amp. And he went in against 1,000 clones and easily defeated, or like over 1,000 clones, easily defeated them without using any curse mark. Now, for Sasuke, and this is 3 Tomoe Sasuke, by the way, when Sasuke was facing the same type of amp with Naruto, he did just as well. Granted, he was only fighting 1, but of course, shadow clones are weaker than the user, but anyway. So we're seeing, like, they're doing just as well against, like, the same fighter, and they also have the same amp. Like, their curse marks are supposed to be...
So, that's an interesting statement that he made, that he kind of pulled up. So, he said shadow clones are weaker than the user. Now... I'm going to be real with you. I feel like that is very contentious. There's not really a way to prove concretely that shadow clones are weaker. If anything, it's a lot more supported the opposite way, in my opinion, that the shadow clones actually have equal power as the user. It's kind of demonstrated with the KCM1 shadow clones to the original user. It's kind of shown when Naruto does it throughout the beginning of part 1 and everything. Like, they all could perform the same level of speed, the same level of action, the same level of attack potency. You know what I mean? So, like... And they apply a shit ton of pressure. Like, that's the whole benefit of shadow clones. It can cause diversions and cause pressure. So, like, let's say you say the shadow clones are weaker, right? Well, even if you were to grant that, let's say they are weaker. They clearly are not significantly weaker, because if they were, they wouldn't be able to be successful at diversions, or better yet, they wouldn't be able to give the W or, cause the pressure that it can do, if that makes sense. Like, for instance, the Gaara fight, when that happens and everything, if they were drastically weaker or they couldn't do it and whatever, then it would be useless. It'd be counterintuitive, if that makes sense. Same thing, with the fucking, with the KCM1 clones. Like, what's the fucking point? If they're that much weaker, there's just no point of it. You know what I mean? Like, you might as well just not fucking do it. You know what I mean? So, and there's a lot of statements where it says, like, shadow clones have equal chakra, which obviously we know chakra equates to power. Like, there's so many ways you can analyze it and go about it to where you can actually say that shadow clones are actually equal in power to the original user. You know what I mean? So, like, I definitely am going to have to, I don't know about all that. But either way, it's fair and respectable. And I could see why they could, maybe think that or whatever, etc. You know what I mean? There's arguments for that too and whatnot. But That's just me. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, whether if you think Shadow Clones are either equal in power or if they're just tremendously weaker, or even, let's say, even if you think they are weaker, that it's not like obviously significantly weaker, so that it's compatible enough to where it can still be useful and obviously work for whatever purpose, you know? Now, what I will say, if it's two Tomo Sasuke against Kimimaro, he's getting washed up. Like, it's not even a discussion or a debate. He couldn't do shit against Kyuubi Naruto. Like, come on. Like, what the fuck? While Kimimaro could fight thousands of them, okay? If it's three Tomo Sasuke, though, okay, then basically, you know, like, he'll be able to see his movements, you know, he'll be able to, you know, read and stuff like that. But it's like, the moment Kimimaro, like, is using his bone techniques and shit and things like that, it's like, what the fuck does Sasuke do, in my opinion? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does he do? Like, and better yet, like, the question is, can his Chidori even go through his body with, like, his bone durability? Like, bro, his durability was so fucking strong, he could, like, tank fucking, like, the fucking pressure and the amount of force of sand burial, or him being, like, deeply underground, and, like, Gar using even stronger sand barrier variants, and just, like, it just did nothing, bro. Like, I mean, like, his bone is strong as shit, bro. And then he has the curse mark, CM1, which amplifies, CM2 10 times more. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't see any techniques that Sasuke has to really hurt or damage Kimimaro. That's just me personally. Maybe the Onyx Chidori could probably be able to maybe go through his bone or whatever, but, like, either way, like, fucking, I don't know. If Kimimaro was to fight Sasuke at that point, with 3 Tomo, even with the CM1 and CM2, he's definitely be able to beat that particular Sasuke. Like, it's just kind of shown, like, that, like, this Kimimaro could literally was, like, way stronger than the Sound 4. Like, tremendously stronger than them. You know what I mean? Especially Prime. Even Sick was, like, kind of demonstrating narratively that he was, like, way over. Okay, like, they even say, like, wow, like, you're nothing to Kimimaro, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So, like, in the same Sasuke to where, like, he kind of struggled against him and whatnot, yes, he does get stronger with the barrel, all that, you name it. But there's even statements to say that he would, once he gets CM2 and has access, his strength would only be equal to theirs and stuff. So, like, either way, like, I don't know, like, to be able to scale this Sasuke to Kimimaro, there's arguments for it. You could be able to try to do that, but you can't concretely prove it. And there's a lot of evidence, you know, subjectively to say otherwise, that he does not scale to Kimimaro. You know what I mean? Like, this Sasuke with 3 Tomo and even Curse Mark would get washed up by Gaara or get washed up by Kimimaro. I strongly believe that. Like, Gaara and Kimimaro would fucking beat his ass. Okay? Like, it's just, I don't know. I just don't see it. Like, the bones, like, the amount of spikes he could summon from the fucking ground. Like, Sasuke can't fly at this point. Like, it's just, there's no way he's beating him. That's just me. I'm curious to see what they're going to say. But, you know, Kimimaro, he's no joke. Even as sick and crippled, he's crazy strong.
The same, or have the same amount of multiplayer, I guess. So it's kind of interesting in that sense. Now, as for how the fight would go, I would think they would both just, like, try to fight with, like, taijutsu and stuff, and then once Sasuke starts bringing out, like, his own ninjutsu, then Kimimaro is going to start bringing out the curse mark. And that's going to keep feeding into each other, but then eventually Lee is going to show up and, like, start using the drunken fist and stuff, and so that's just going to help Sasuke. And then once Gaara shows up, like, it doesn't really matter what happens because Kimimaro ends up losing just fighting Gaara. So Sasuke there is just
okay, so they're giving Sasuke help. So, okay, well, if we're going that route, okay, and Sasuke's getting help, okay, yeah, Kimimaro not gonna fucking win. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. You know what I mean? So, that's fine. But, like, I thought they were just saying Sasuke. Like, so if it's just Sasuke, he loses. I don't give a fuck. But if he has help, then it's fine.
I'm not exactly sure if this was like a one-on-one who would win, assuming that Kimimaro doesn't just drop dead. But I definitely think Sasuke is strong enough to stall long enough for help to come and win.
And next up, we have Naruto Shippuden, the sequel. You should watch it if you haven't. I don't know if you've watched it, bro. But it's this is serious, bro. Don't laugh. But it's we have Sasuke taking Naruto's spot.
Alright, so now that they've gotten to Shippuden, I already know this video is very, very long. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to basically conclude the video here. This will be part 1. And then we'll do the final part for the next video. And we'll just kind of do that. and we'll start the recording right afterwards. So we're going to do that. We'll leave this video here. If you guys enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below of what you think overall. Your whole opinion, takes, and whatnot with all this stuff to put into consideration. And just let me know. Subscribe for more content. Subscribe guys to the channel, especially if you're Naruto fans. There'll be plenty of reactions, you name it, production videos, the whole 9 yards. And as always, we'll kind of go from there, and that'll be it. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, see you in the next video. Peace.